Atletico Madrid versus Arsenal in the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals, man. A big game today. I'm excited for this game. After watching that the other semi-final, PSG versus Bayern Munich 5-4, madness of a game. Probably one of the best games I've watched in a couple of years' time, in my opinion. And I'm happy that we get one of these kind of games every year. A different type of game. Obviously, PSG goals going back and forth. PSG were up 5-2 at one point. Obviously, game ends 5-4. I really put that down to a certain level of individual quality in attack and around the pitch that I don't think Arsenal have, and especially I don't think Atletico have. I think we have good players, but not like the same level of quality all around the pitch and depth, and players that have that confidence, that magic, that level that can enable you to play that kind of game. Like, I think both managers would have been stressed because of the defensive performances, but at the same time they trust that their players have the abilities to come back. Even as I said, PSG are 5-2 up. I don't think any Bayern fan, I don't think any neutral fan thought that Bayern wasn't going to get back into the game. Maybe even the PSG fans themselves, but that's a worry in itself. But at the same time, that's the way football you want to be. That's the way that you want football to be played, back and forth, up and down, a level of attacking quality, players taking players on, showing a level of quality in their passing, their dribbling, their first touches, their game knowledge, all of that stuff. And hopefully Arsenal get there one day with some level of quality of players that to match, the Sakas and Ezes and stuff like that, to allow us to play in that type of game and against that type of opposition. Because I think we've seen many a time, obviously before I get to the PV, Arsenal play that type of game. I can remember the Sunderland in the second half. Arsenal played so open, we're constantly putting, but then it's the quality, the conversion level, hitting the post, hitting it over, just wide, making putting it in a place that keeper can make a save, and not capitalizing on that importance. And it's like you're having to rely. And you saw the Sunderland game, we only scored two goals in that second half, and in the end, they scored an equaliser. And I'm just giving an example of a game I know Arsenal went all out, guns blazing. I'm not trying to rate the Sunderland side and say that they did too, but just where I've seen Arsenal fully open up, I just don't think we have the quality and the ruthlessness around our team to enable us to play that football. But moving on to this game, it's a big game. Obviously, both teams come to this game in poor form. I think Atletico only have 2 wins in 9 or 2 wins in 10. Arsenal, I think similar, like 2 wins in like 6 or 7. Arsenal needs to capitalize on this game. I think this is a favourable tie. You can see yesterday that level of opposition. If those teams, obviously, we're playing on those teams, we will be very, in this form, we'll be not confident that we could win. But we're playing Atletico. We beat them already this season 4-0 at the Emirates. I think it was 3 goals in 13 minutes when we kind of killed the game. They do have threats. Julian Alvarez, Anton Griezmann, Ademola Lookman, my boy. Koke still pulling up strings at his age. They got good players. Soulaf, a physical, tall striker that can be a threat whether he starts or he's off the bench. But at the same time, Arsenal have threats. I know we'll talk about the team news. Obviously, Mikel confirming in his press conference that obviously Calafiori's fit. We saw Eze in training, but he confirmed that Havertz would be out. I think there was reports saying that he might be out for a couple of games, but he won't miss a Premier League game. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to play against Fulham. But he's out for this game. So what did we do in the striker position? Obviously, we'll get into that when we get to the lineup. So he kind of made a mistake. Said Timber was available, and said Timber isn't available. Didn't really get into the details of what's going on with his injury, or how long or why there's any setback. But yeah, that's the worrying part, because Timber would have been so good in these games. Hopefully, maybe they're gearing him up maybe for final Premier League game. Maybe if we do get to Champions League final, Timber will be playing, or he'll be fit enough to play. And obviously, I know the World Cup is also on the horizon as well. He talked about how that Arsenal were going to have the personality and the will to want to win this game. We're going to go there to play our style, our game, and try and impose on that game and go there to win. Try and maybe to potentially, win that game, win the leg in the first leg. Obviously, that doesn't mean I think Arsenal are going to go out and leave themselves open, but I think we're going to see a level of intent. Maybe against City, where we're showing a same level of quality in defence, guys getting back, defenders, Gabriel, Saliba, Raya having great games, but then also that intent to go forward, Zubimendi, Odegaard, getting the ball forward to the likes of Eze, maybe Saka if he starts, and then we can start to play football and pose threats, because Atletico, as I said, they're not in greatest form. Obviously, they'll see this as an opportunity for them to try and also get silverware as well. Obviously, Simeone is an experienced manager, 15 years in the job. I think he's made 2 Champions League finals, a couple of semi-finals as well in there. Hasn't won it, but at the same time, two of the greatest teams that have won this competition, battling that out, I think it'll be good. It might not be PSG Bayern, because I don't think the level of attacking quality is there. I think the styles of the managers and how we play is different. I think you got to respect it. PSG and Bayern play a very high attacking brand of football, and at the same time you can say that defensively that they have the caveat. And if they play a team that is more defensive, more solid, more robust. I think that the set piece defending as well from Bayern and PSG's wasn't really that great. Something that's Arsenal's strength. You can see, and Arsenal played Bayern. I think we had like almost 4 XG. They had like 1. Arsenal played a very, very good game that day. Nullified Bayern as well, and they had Elise, they had Kane, they had most of the players that were playing in this game today. So I'm sorry, the game yesterday. But again, styles makes fights. And as an Arsenal fan, we would want our team to play swashbuckling football, open football, that level of quality. But I don't think we have the same quality to do that, to go toe to toe and gun and have a basketball match of a team that can actually capitalize on the chances they get. This is going to be my lineup for the game. This is the lineup I want, and this is the lineup that I think Mikel, it could be realistic, but what Mikel may go with as well. So I'm going to go with David Raya in goal. I'm going to go with Ben White right back again. I think I was contemplating Mascara playing, but I think we got to try and go and win this first leg. I know Adam Lookman's a threat, so I won't be surprised if Mikel goes Mascara, but I think I want to see what Ben White can do, especially what I pick further up the pitch. Obviously, Saliba Gabriel hold the position. I'm going to go with Calafiori in this game. I think KAPE is the more solid defender, and maybe Mikel probably does go with him because he's in form, he's been playing. I think he was probably a man of the match on the weekend, but I think Atletico probably plays Simeone's son out there. He's not like the paciest winger, he's more like a midfielder playing out there. So I think if we have the license to go forward, we want to capitalise. Calafiori brings that unpredicted nature of his game, and I think that will be there to allow us to have that attack. Midfield 3 will stay the same, obviously Mendy, Rice, Odegaard. Off the left it will be Eze, nice to see him in training. Off the right it will be Saka. I think Saka has to start this game for me. And then down the middle I'm going to go Gabriel Jesus. More than likely he's going to be Gyökeres, but I think when I was analysing some of Atletico's games, obviously they play a 4-4-2 shape. Sometimes Simeone, maybe in rotation games against lower La Liga opposition, he goes into a 4-2-3-1. But they play a majority 4-4-2 shape. He's got a solid team. Obviously that is normally Griezmann and Alvarez up front. They kind of play as two false two tens almost. You got Lookman as their like highest outlet. They play their wide man, the guy that stays out wide almost, and makes the runs in behind. And they have Simeone plays midfield, tucks in to kind of make a compact midfield. And is in there. He's good neat player. Play midfield 2 of normally it is Loriente and Koke, in the 2, and then obviously a back 4 of Molina, Lenormand, Longley, and I think it's Gary. I think it's a centre back, and then obviously keeper. So they play a 4-4-2. Obviously they got a centre back at left back. Molina is a up and down right back for Argentinian. So the system makes sense. Obviously if Simeone's tucking in, you got Molina kind of tucking that right wing and being up and down, and then obviously Gary staying at that left position, comes into a back 3, doesn't really go up attack the pitch obviously. So Lookman kind of has the ability to kind of attack that left hand side and maybe cheat. The way I'm looking at that is you have to try and drag either their players out wide, the midfielders very, very wide, because they're probably going to try and stay narrow in that compact mid-block 4-4-2 shape when Arsenal have the ball. But you want to try and drag players out. So that's where the Calafiori comes in. Then Eze playing as a left winger, tucking inside and being in the central spaces. If they have 2 centre mids, what do they do if there's a Jesus in that pocket position and Eze as well, and then Saka's tucking in, Ben White's going on that right hand side, Calafiori's floating up and down, and Odegaard is roaming. There's a lot of players in there and it mixes it around. When I was watching them against Barca, that's what Barca done. I think when Barca played in the first leg, I think they played Lewandowski, from the start. If I'm correct, and Lemand and Longley kind of defended that well, because Lewandowski's a good player, but he's playing back to goal, more physical. Then when they put on Ferran Torres, they brought that threat because he's that pacey, playing behind, false 9, player drag, can roam left, roam right. And I'm thinking the same thing. A washed Gabriel Jesus or not a fit Gabriel Jesus coming into this team can help us have that platform to play, especially with no Kai. Maybe we don't go over them, but we can go through them. We can fire it to Jesus' feet. I remember that performance against Inter Milan group stages. Yes, it was in January, I think, a couple of months ago, but still. Level of quality that you fire into his feet. We had the goal that he scored for his first goal was good play, firing into his feet, 1-2s all around, and such. I want to see that, because I think that's how we beat Atletico. You have to also bear in mind they're still a good team. Likes of Koke, Griezmann, Alvarez, Loriente, Simeone. They're good technical players. They're going to be able to keep the ball well. You saw what they were able to do against the likes of Barcelona. They're still about 4th in La Liga as well, despite obviously them not having the greatest of seasons. And they're in the Champions League semi-final for a reason. They've had a good Champions League campaign. So Arsenal got to try and utilize. I think we go there trying to be physical, and let's just be real. If we play Gyökeres in this game, we're not going to have the platform to play. Yes, he's been better in the Champions League, but he isn't that great of a player. So I think we need to play Jesus. I would even go, potentially a Martinelli up front. If you can't play Jesus, and I would still go just me for that pace. You want to go for having that one outlet and pacey playing behind. Maybe we can't play into his feet, but his runs, his movement, his aerial threat, and his finishing is good. So that's how we see, man. I'm excited for this game. Very intrigued to see how the game's played. I don't expect, again, it to be a 5-4, but I think Arsenal can go and bode well for the rest of it. Like, we can, leave it a good advantageous scoreline, maybe 1-0, maybe 2-0, maybe 2-1. And then you go into the Emirates game next week with full confidence that you can dispatch a team that you're already taking care of this season at home. Do you know what I mean? And then you put yourself in good confidence for the Fulham game, potentially get some momentum, get a win, and then put that pressure on City as well. But let's see what we do, man. I really want to get into the Champions League final. I think despite the quality that we see in that, the opponents that we could get in the final, if we do make it through, I think we have the defensive quality, the heart, and potentially all the players back available to kind of nullify one of these teams. And we've beaten both of the teams before: PSG last year, Bayern last year, and Atletico this year. So why should these players be fearful? Why should I be fearful? Come on, Arsenal, man. Show your stuff, show your quality, and let's get an advantage to take back home to the Emirates, man. It's going to be a very, very good game. And my score predictions for this game, as I said, I'm going to go with 2-1. I don't think Arsenal are not going to concede. I think some finals are hard, but I think we can have enough to win the game, especially if we go with that lineup. But let me know your score prediction. Let me know your lineups, and let me know how you're feeling for this game, man. But come on, you Gunners, man. Yesterday woke me up, and I hope today keeps me up. Pause.